This is Local Edition. I'm Brad Pomerance. Glad you're back. We're joined again by Mark Ridley-Thomas, member of the Board of Supervisors for Los Angeles County, which is an arm of the state.
It
58
is.
counties, arm of state.
Right.
I want to talk to you about the California state budget, therefore. As you know, pursuant to the June California budget, if certain revenue targets were not hit, automatic cuts would go into place. The governor recently announced those automatic cuts, only a billion,
Right.
better than expected. How is that going to impact the county?
Well, it's already impacting the county. The first thing that we had to come to grips with was what we describe as realignment.
Right.
Where those who were in state prison, those nonviolent offenders, non-sexual predators, have been released to the counties throughout the state.
And let me ask you about that,
Yeah.
because as we know, this county of Los Angeles has received many more prisoners than
Yeah.
they ever anticipated, more than estimates. In fact, I have heard the county has said that they could reach capacity by January.
Very easily.
And so, I know you're not the sheriff or in probation, but is the county preparing for ankle bracelet monitoring or work release?
Well, we are preparing for a range of things, but at this point, the funding is only one-time funding. Therefore, what counties fear across the state is it then becomes the county's burden to deal with these ex-offenders.
So let me ask you about that, because Governor Brown said when he really pushed for realignment that he would do everything in his power to make sure that funding continued
Yes.
constitutionally.
Right.
And he has proposed an initiative that would
Right.
be on the November 2012 ballot.
Correct.
That would be an increase in tax, but part of that money would be dedicated to the counties for realignment.
We're waiting on it. And frankly, as a part of the legislative solution, we anticipated that the governor would make counties whole. That did not happen, and that's hugely problematic. In the case of the county of Los Angeles, it means in excess of $100 million to deal with in terms of public safety. That's huge, Brad, and we can't continue to take on these kinds of burdens unless there's relief from one of the traditional revenue sources for the county, and that is state government.
We also know that some of the prisoners that are being sent to the county because of enhancements
Yes.
are staying much longer than the 3 years that they would be expected to stay, because they're the three nons: non-sexual, non-violent, non-sexual.
Right.
I mean, in some counties, 10, 14-year sentences. What is the county going to do in those cases? The counties are not equipped for long-time prisoners.
We are not, and the fact of the matter is, add to that the question of mental health issues. This is huge. This is not a small issue. It goes to the question of health and safety in a very fundamental way. And so the jury is literally still out in terms
Good metaphor.
of how we resolve this hugely important issue.
We also know that the LAPD,
Right.
working with the county,
Right.
is shifting some parole officers to prisons to handle the increase in inmates. There's a concern that that shift could decrease response times for 911 calls,
Yes.
reverse falling crime rates. I don't want to be an alarmist.
You shouldn't be an
The
alarmist.
program has just started, but
But it shouldn't be taken lightly. And the governor and the legislature, have a responsibility to work with us so that there aren't unintended
are they
consequences.
in our final moments?
There could very well be, and that's what we have to guard against, and we should.
His name is Mark Ridley-Thomas. He's a member of the Board of Supervisors for Los Angeles County. My name is Brad Pomerance. Thank you for joining us. Back to HLN.